Well, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. I have a lot of stories to go through today. First of all, we have an update on the Tulsi case. There was something I forgot to include from her brief. Also, I think we may have an answer to what is clean in the castle. Got an article from Business Insider dealing with that. There was an administration official removed, like physically removed from the White House not too long ago, just a couple days ago. Also, we've got some interesting information about the coronavirus. This is not a natural virus. In fact, it actually was patented by a British agency. We're going to look into that stuff. We've got some information about what the CDC is looking to do in regards to this terrible catastrophe. We also have word that Ghislaine's emails were hacked, and there is some damaging information that is likely to leak out as a result. So we're going to take a look at all of these things and more, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. A famous movie villain once said, "Introduce a little anarchy, upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos." Well, rarely in history have truer words been spoken, and history has demonstrated this repeatedly. Whether it's a stock market crash, a tea attack, the power goes off longer than you've expected. All of these things happen without warning, and when it's breaking news, it's too late to prepare, and you're in a panicked scramble. Now, to avoid the chaos, there's a few things you should do, one in particular, but build an emergency food supply. I personally trust and use my Patriot Supply to do this for me and my family. Now, you can get started with a 2-week kit at their website, and this week you can save 40% off these food kits when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. These kits include breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage, and they arrive to your door with guaranteed 2-day delivery. Those who know what's coming are preparing today, and you should too. So go to preparewithredpill78.com and save 40% off right now. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all, today, the update from Tulsi's story from yesterday. Michael Malice tweeted out, "The strangest part of the Tulsi versus Hillary filing by far, Tulsi Gabbard is a natural person who is a citizen and domiciliary of the state of Hawaii. She has never experienced, does not currently experience, and does not expect to experience thoughts of suicide." So, again, clearly, Tulsi knows what she's getting into here. Now, I ruffled some feathers yesterday saying that I actually like Tulsi. I only like Tulsi in as much as she is suing Hillary for $50 million. So anybody that's going to sue Hillary, I'm probably going to look slightly favorably upon. And I said she was misguided in her politics because she is a Democrat. So if you're a Tulsi fan, sorry if you were offended. And if you don't like Tulsi, sorry that I was too nice. All right, so first off, I've got a tweet from myself talking about the impeachment. We've got Tom Fitton and Dan Bongino. They cut an interview today. Cyber sent it over to me. And I say, the impeachment sham is about covering up the crimes of the Dims. Looks like Tom Fitton and our favorite Anand are of the same opinion. Remember, in Post 3779, they are attempting to protect themselves from prosecution and prevent the public from discovering the truth. Let's take a look at this clip from the interview with Tom and Dan.
So, but now we're not allowed to talk about Ukraine because it gets in the way of the impeachment narrative. And the fact that President Trump was asking the right questions and is being targeted for asking questions. In my view, this whole impeachment sham, the coup attack, whatever you want to call it, it also is an obstruction of justice because they want to free.
That's right. This is an obstruction of justice. The Dems are looking to stonewall the DOJ, keep them busy with all of these endless, baseless investigations, which will never amount to anything and will only serve to keep them busy so that the public will never become aware of the depth of their own crimes. So yesterday at 4:56 p.m. Eastern Time, we had this post from our favorite anon, post 3782, says Castle Clean. This is a photo of President Trump led by two Marines. I believe it's from the Made in America showcase back in July of last year. Original photos were taken in color. This has been color corrected for black and white. But we know that Castle is the White House, and if the castle is clean, then that would mean, in my book, that maybe the rats have been cleaned out, something to that effect. So I did find this article from Business Insider. Let's go take a look at that. And the title of the article is, Trump's Russia advisor was escorted from the White House after 2 months on the job as part of a mysterious security probe. Now, we know that President Trump is working diligently to clean up the National Security Council after it ballooned under the former administration. But the senior director for European and Russian affairs has been placed on administrative leave and escorted out of the White House. His name was Andrew Peek, and he was put on leave pending the result of an as-yet unknown security-related investigation, reports said. He was appointed back in November, and the NSC is the main foreign policy unit at the White House. His predecessors, Fiona Hill and Tim Morrison, both testified last year in front of the House as part of the impeachment probe. And before his White House appointment, Peek worked for the State Department, we know what that means, and focused on Iran and Iraq. Now, it should also be noted that prior to his appointment here, he was a U.S. Army intelligence advisor to now retired Marine General John Allen, who commanded the NATO-led International Security Assistance Force in Afghanistan at the time. So if he was escorted out of the White House, that would certainly mean that it was in an unceremonious fashion. If it is an unknown security investigation, that sounds to me like the ongoing leak investigations that they've been working on. So certainly, if he was removed from the White House, this would definitely count, in my book, as cleaning up the castle. Now, 2 days ago, it was reported that the first case of coronavirus in the United States had been identified in the Seattle area. I have a contact who works at the CDC, and they let me know that they are going to be instituting screening processes here in the United States at sporting events, any place where there's going to be a lot of people, places where there could potentially be foreigners. This virus, it looks like, has come out of China, or at least the person who was infected with it in the Washington area was a Chinese national and was from China. Now, this is unusual that we've got a brand new, very deadly virus that has hit the streets. It has traveled across the pond all the way over here to the United States. So what is the genesis of this coronavirus? Well, Ali B had identified an article here which attempts to identify it. So let's take a look at that. And here it is. They say that bats are being blamed. Bat soup. As pictures of people in China eating bat soup are emerging, they're saying that the bats could be the host of the coronavirus. And specifically, it looks like these reports are identified out of Wuhan, which is where the person identified with the coronavirus was from. Now, the spread of the deadly coronavirus, they're saying, could be down to bat soup, because we've got people eating bat soup. Here is an image of a bat, that poor bat, about to be consumed by someone in a Chinese restaurant. There is footage of this out there. I've never heard of people eating bat soup before. I didn't know that this was a delicacy, and I guess I still don't know that this is a delicacy, because I think it's kind of convenient that all of a sudden we have this coronavirus here in the United States. At the same time, all of a sudden, they're giving this press to people eating bat soup. We can see here in this photograph, this is the person identified with the coronavirus. I couldn't tell you if this was in Washington or if this is in China. Looks like to me that might be China. Here are some tents that have been set up, looks like to quarantine people that are infected with it. Here are some people wearing those masks, and again, some health professionals. This definitely looks like this is in China, because that's some Chinese writing right there. And then this one right here looks like it could be in the U.S. But the way they're presenting it, it seems that they don't know much about the coronavirus. They are assuming that perhaps the bats could be the host for it. It looks like they've had 552 confirmed cases in China, and this is across 22 different provinces. So if bats have been the host of the coronavirus, why is it only now that it's starting to emerge? They say it's a SARS-like virus, which means that it's also a pneumonia-like virus. I've heard tell that it is as deadly as the Spanish flu, which, when it was in an outbreak status, killed somewhere between 25 and 50 million people. So very, very deadly. Thinking about the fact that they say they don't know where the virus came from, they don't know how it emerged, let's take a look at something that my viewer Kathy sent over. Well, this is a page from Justia Patents, and here in 2015, we have a patent for the coronavirus. This is from the Pkwy Institute, and the patent is for the present invention provides a live attenuated coronavirus comprising a variant replicase gene encoding polyproteins comprising a mutation in one or more of the non-structural proteins. The virus is the avian infection bronchitis virus, and it is highly infectious and contagious pathogen of domestic fowl. It looks like coronavirus existed previously in nature, but it has been made more virulent, more deadly in this patent by the Pkwy Institute. So why would they want to make a virus more deadly? Why would they want to make it so that it could be more easily given to humans? Well, I think you know the answer to that question. I think that it's pretty self-explanatory. The types of research that produce viruses that are deadly like this, I mean, they're probably for use in human populations. They're use as a weapon. So who is the Pkwy Institute? Well, let's go take a look at this. They have quite a few number of patents under their belt. First is one for a mutated swine fever virus. That's actually for a vaccine. Stabilized FMDV capsids. That would be something to do with foot and mouth disease. They've got several patents on that. Chicken cells for improved virus production. That would definitely be for the production of vaccines. The coronavirus, a mutant spike protein extending the tissue tropism of infectious bronchitis virus. That is another one related to coronavirus. Here's one for a vaccine of swine flu. Here's one for another modified foot and mouth disease. More on foot and mouth disease. More for additional viruses, foot and mouth disease, and it goes on and on. They have a number of viruses, but it looks like they are in the business of producing vaccines, or maybe they're in the business of producing the need for the population to want vaccines. So it looks like the Pkwy Institute is an infectious disease research unit. They have been patenting different types of vaccines and various viruses, I would imagine, to be used in those vaccines. So because of the nature of what they're doing, they are changing them and making them unique. That's how they're able to get a patent on it. So I would imagine it would be a fairly easy thing to test the people who have become infected with the coronavirus and compare it against the patented version of the virus. Unless this is another further mutated version, version that's been mutated in the wild, it would look exactly the same. So we can determine pretty easily where the source of this would be coming from. So very interesting that we've got this very recently patented version of the coronavirus. And now when we are at such a critical juncture in our nation's history and in world history, suddenly we have a very, very deadly virus that has entered the United States. So definitely make sure that you guys are keeping yourself safe. Try to protect yourselves. If you do see sick people, I would do your best to stay away if you are in any area where the coronavirus has been identified, specifically Washington State. Now, as I stated, this originated out of Wuhan in China, and right now that area is on lockdown, millions of people on lockdown, because they have temporarily closed all outbound public transportation, flights, and trains in an attempt to limit the spread of this virus. Surrounding cities, Guangdong and Izhou, have taken similar measures, and the outbreak has killed an estimated 17 people, interesting number, and sickened more than 500 patients. Now, the World Health Organization has declined to make a decision regarding whether the mysterious disease is an international emergency. So here we have some video of the area Wuhan in China, showing the people standing around with their masks on, trying to remain impervious to the virus, keep it out of their bodies. Some more footage from outside of this government facility. And here is video of a person who's thought to be infected with the virus being loaded into what looks like an ambulance and surrounded by health workers. Here we have footage from the city limits of Wuhan, with police officials completely locking down any exit or entry into the city. And you can see the way the road is congested. Looks like there's a lot of people attempting to leave the area. And of course, they don't want that to happen because that would almost certainly cause a pandemic. So they've got to keep everybody on total lockdown. It looks like this is going to turn into another swine flu, another bird flu, and as long as we can keep it isolated, everything should be fine. But of course, we know that that's not what they're interested in doing. The more people that spread this throughout the world, the more easy we have a pandemic, global panic, and the easier it will be to control people in the manner that they want. Now, something interesting from my friend QAnon Notables on Twitter. This woman right here, Ghislaine, her personal emails have been hacked, and they expect that damaging information, including the names of people linked to Jeffrey and his case, are at risk of being publicly released. Let's take a look at the article from the Daily Mail. All right, now this was revealed in a letter filed by the British socialites' lawyers in the defamation case brought against her by Jeffrey's accuser, Virginia. And the letter was sent by the attorney for Ghislaine, Ty Gee, on December 5th to a New York federal court judge, Loretta A. Preska, but it was only made public this past week. And the letter addresses the materials that should remain sealed or redacted in the case. It notes the difficulty and complexity of the process, as there are more than 8,600 pages, adding that it is difficult to overstate importance to the lives of Miss Maxwell and the non-parties. So trying to keep everything under wraps so these people don't get dragged into it. I suppose the idea is that they are saying that they are not related to any of the activities that Jeffrey participated in, but we'll have to find that out in a court of law. Gee's letter says that the project could not be accomplished by scanning or speed reading, and each page has to be carefully analyzed to redact things such as the surname or an email address of a person who might be caught up in the emails. He refers to details that were released in error in the 2,000 pages that were made public in August by the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, some of the things revealed in those filings were the allegation that Ghislaine was the procurer for these victims of Jeffrey. And this is definitely very, very potentially damaging to both her and anyone that she was involved with. Another thing that was revealed was Ghislaine's personal email address, which included the domain name of her website, I guess. And of course, the big if is whether or not these emails are going to further implicate Prince Andrew, because we know about his very close relationship with both Ghislaine and Jeffrey. Now, specifically, one of the revelations included an email from 2015 that was between the Duke of York and Miss Maxwell, where they specifically discuss Virginia. Now, in that email, revealed on Panorama, Maxwell and the British royal discussed Virginia despite denials from the prince he had never met the then teenager and that a photo of them together was fake. He said, "Let me know when we can talk. Got some specific questions to ask you about Virginia," Prince Andrew wrote in an email to Ghislaine, and she replied, "Have some info. Call me when you have a moment." Now, we are all very familiar with the allegations against Prince Andrew, so I am not going to repeat them here. But if you do have any questions as to what has been alleged, they are very, very easily found with a cursory search using any search engine on the internet. So here is that infamous brownstone in Manhattan that was raided after the arrest in July, just 2 months before he did not KYH. All right, so I think we've got the idea here. Some big people are going to be in a lot of trouble, and I tend to think that these emails are going to be released. Whoever hacked them is not going to sit on them. These are definitely going to come out over time, and I would not be surprised if it came out in a targeted fashion. So I'll just keep your eyes open, and we'll see what's going on. Now, next, we have another tidbit from a post, which is a tweet from Joe Zallo, and it says, breaking Laura Ingraham investigation, emails expose what the former administration knew about the Bidens and Burisma. So let's go ahead and take a look at the clip.
Now, we got our hands on a batch of State Department emails from May of last year. The chain centers on a request from the New York Times reporter Ken Vogel. Now, you might remember he's the former Politico reporter who wrote this story about Ukrainian efforts to hobble Trump's presidential run in 2016. Oh, but that's just a conspiracy theory, right? Well, fast forward to May of 2019. Vogel sends an email to State Department official Kate Schilling about a story he was working on regarding an Obama-era meeting with Ukrainian prosecutors. In his request, Vogel mentions a name who some have reported is the whistleblower. Now, Vogel's email reads as follows. We're going to report that State Department official Elizabeth Zentos attended a meeting at the White House on January 19, 2016, with Ukrainian prosecutors and embassy officials. The subjects discussed included efforts within the United States government to support prosecutions in Ukraine and the United Kingdom of Burisma Holdings, and concerns that Hunter Biden's position with the company could complicate such efforts. On May 1st, State Department official Kate Schilling forwarded Vogel's email to her colleagues Elizabeth Zentos and George Kent. Now, remember him? He was one of the House Democrats' all-star impeachment witnesses. Now, follow-up emails reveal the conversation ending on May 3rd when the State Department eventually just declined to comment. We at the Ingraham angle were, however, able to corroborate details of the January 2016 meeting. However, we did this, of course, using archived Obama White House visitor logs. They're not going to tell us. We have to go to the logs. You can see them on the screen now. They show that the person who many believe to be the whistleblower checked in numerous Ukrainian officials into the White House on January 19, 2016, the day Vogel claims there was a meeting on Burisma and Biden.
Now, hot on the heels of that information being released on Laura Ingraham's program last night, Rudy Giuliani was speaking this morning, and he is fed up with everything that's been going on in Washington. He's finally ready to release the evidence of the millions involved in this cover-up and the misdeeds of Hunter and Joe. Now, this morning, Rudy tweeted, "Everything I tried to tell the press last March is now coming out, and more. I will now start to reveal the evidence directly to you, the people. The Biden family enterprise made millions by selling public office. Then, when Joe was Barry's point man, they all made millions." It's time to take them to task. I definitely agree with Rudy. It is high time that the public sees this, and perhaps what we need is the full public awakening of this information, so then pressure can be put upon the DOJ to finally do something about it. Thank you very much, Rudy Giuliani, for having the courage to bring this out, and I say it's time to take this matter before a court of law. All right, finally today, I want to end with this post right here, the declassification chain of command. So you have POTUS to Barr, then you have Barr to Durham, then you have F classified intel provided to Five Eyes, so foreign classified intel provided to Five Eyes and non-Five Eyes as needed. Does Durham want to freeze public declass due to criminal nature of the probes? Think grand jury material. When did the investigation begin? When did the investigation really begin? Nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Slow drip and then a flood. I think it's very interesting, especially now that we have Rudy Giuliani saying that he's going to be bringing stuff out. But we're asked the question, does Durham want to hold public declass due to the criminal nature of the probes? Think grand jury material. Well, I think that means that this is exactly why we haven't seen it yet. And this is something I've said many times on this program. These are ongoing criminal investigations. To release this information prior to the revealing of these indictments and these criminal cases would surely harm the cases that the DOJ and Durham and Barr are all hoping to bring against these people in the courts. So, when did the investigation begin? Well, publicly, it was sometime after President Trump came into office. But I think that really this investigation began a very long time ago, and we're talking about the military intelligence aspect of this here. So now we know nothing can stop what is coming, and this slow drip is about to become a flood. I really do think that very soon here, guys, we are going to see this stuff begin to come out. I think we should be looking very soon on the horizon for those first unsealed indictments to become public, at which point it will necessarily become a flood of information. What I want to make most clear is that if you remember, as I said, that this coronavirus thing could turn into another swine flu, another bird flu, there was a lot of international panic in regards to those becoming a pandemic. But what happened? They fizzled out. Some people got sick. Some people definitely died. But don't forget, tens of thousands of people die each year from complications of just the regular flu. So this is just another incident that I believe was manufactured in order to create a crisis that we must look at. Because right now, the last thing they want you to be looking at is the crimes that these people have committed. So as always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone. And God bless. Hey guys, it's Red Pill. Just one more thing. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has taken the time to support this channel. If you'd like to see some ways that you can support the channel, you can always check the show notes in the pinned comment of this video below. Whether you like, whether you share, whether you make sure that your notifications are on, any way that you support this channel means so much to me. I could not be doing this without you, and I could not do it without your help. Without people like you, this channel would not exist, so thank you so much to everyone for all of their many means of support. Don't forget to check out the merchandise store that is also in the pinned comment, and I will see you guys next time.